I feel like when I came in and trained, every day you pushed me hard. Every single time, if I was ready or not, you pushed me. But I appreciate that. That's how I was able to level up.
I mean, going back, I push you hard because I can see your capacity. I can see where you're at that point. And that's why I keep throwing things at you and see how you respond. And you respond well, we take it to the next level.
Welcome back to another episode of the DWIT podcast. I'm your host, Taylor. There are people in life you meet who don't just inspire you, they challenge you, they test your limits, and somehow they help you find a version of yourself you didn't know existed. For me, that person was Coach K. I trained with him while playing elite level basketball in Hong Kong. And let's just say, it wasn't easy. He pushed me to the edge physically, mentally, and it helped me rebuild from the ground up. He's the president of AQ Strong, Hong Kong's premier coaching and athletic center with the best training experiences across semi-private coaching, personal training, and movement therapy. An elite performance coach and a mentor who lives by one powerful belief. If life is a sport, everyone's an athlete. Whether you're chasing championships, a weekend warrior, or just someone trying to level up, Coach K believes you got more potentials to unlock. In today's episode, we'll explore how Coach K started his journey, the story behind AQ Strong, and his unique approach to fitness and personal growth. Now let's get started. Coach K, welcome to the DWIT podcast. It's an honor to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
How have you been?
It's good. I mean, first of all, I really appreciate your introduction. I need to steal that for my next job interview. I mean, you gave me a lot of credit, but at the end of the day, I think you actually are the one that put in the work. So respect to you, and you make that process, and look at you now, you're back on track. I mean, I'm very happy to be part of the process.
Yeah, thank you, Coach.
Yeah.
I put in a lot of effort in this intro because we spent some time together.
Yep.
And I think those were magical moments. Mm-hmm. I was at the peak of my basketball career when I met you, but you were able to bring me to another level. A level that I never thought existed. And I really want to share something. Mm-hmm. You were on the top of my list when I was, starting this podcast. The reason why is because not only you trained me, it's because we never really had a chance to have a conversation. I still remember when we first met. When I first came in AQ, what we did was breathing. We start off breathing.
Yes.
And then straight to pull-ups, dips, work on my legs. And then sprinting, So I never really had a chance to talk to you. And I always felt you were so serious.
Not only you, I mean, most people has the same impression.
Yeah, so when I reached out, I hesitated, but I had to because I want to learn from you. Mm. I want to learn from your philosophy, your story, your journey. And before we go into all those, let's start off something more fun and easy. Yeah. If you were to describe your life journey, either it's coaching philosophy with a sport, what would it be and why?
Well, it will definitely be basketball. It's like a basketball game. And the reason is you can spend all the time to prepare, practice, training, get ready for the game. But the first minute, you might sprain your ankle. Yeah. Maybe the first quarter you get in foul trouble. Maybe you got a matchup that you couldn't have advantage over, or maybe that day you have off day, your shot just didn't fall. So you have to change your game plan. You have to be able to kind of maybe step back in some times. You have to actually say, today's not my day, and let your teammate do the work. And also you have to deal with frustration. You have to deal with, setback. You lost the game. Still looking to how do I come back? How do I be stronger and better next game? So I think life is the same. Most people try to spend a lifetime to prepare well and think, okay, then I will walk into this game and I'll be fully ready. But the reality is that will never happen. So to me, I think if we can handle well with setback, challenge, mismatch, off day, whatever, foul trouble, and willing to kind of let the game take you to where you want to be flexible, be adaptive, then your life will be easier. Like you will be able to handle stress, you will be able to be more resilient.
I really like this example because I'm a basketball player.
Yeah.
I completely get what you're saying.
Absolutely.
Right? I can game plan everything, but the ref, the way they blow the game could be very different, right? Your mentality at that game. And I think it's same for your coaching philosophy. Your client might come in and say, hey, I'm ready to work today. But at the same time, it might be a bad day for them. And as a coach, you need to adjust. You need to sense how they're moving today and how far you can push them.
Absolutely. We call it daily daily readiness.
Daily readiness.
Yeah, when you walk in, like how ready to train today? Are you at the prime, or you didn't have a good night's sleep and you didn't eat well, you were stressed? The situation will be totally different. Yeah.
I feel like when I came in and trained, every day you pushed me hard. Every single time, if I was ready or not, you pushed me. Yeah, but I appreciate that.
Yeah.
That's how I was able to level up.
Yeah, I mean, going back, I push you hard because I can see your capacity, basically, right? I can see where you're at that point, and that's why I keep throwing things at you and see how you respond. And you respond well, we take it to the next level. Yeah, and that's how I train. Like I always kind of interact with my client and sensing the energy and the response from them, and sometimes just change it on spot.
So I believe you were able to do this is because of years of experience. Now let's go back. How did it all start? How did you get into fitness, this industry?
Well, it started with I am not a good athlete. I'm not athletic, and I have no skill and no special talent, not a genetic freak, but I still enjoy the sport, I love every sport that I play. Basketball is my favorite sport. So back then already thinking, how can I be a little bit better, Just being a teenager, like athletes, right? How can I be a little bit better? I cannot sprint faster, I cannot jump higher, but how can I be a little bit better? Maybe the way I defend, maybe I, do something different. So that's kind of triggered the mindset of, be better at sport. So the performance mindset, we started there. I remember I told my mom I want to study sport because I want to train myself to be better. So that's all started there to help myself to be a better athlete back then. Hoping one day I can play professional basketball like you, but I didn't make it. And that career kind of developed, and then I went to school, studied sports science and all that, really fall in love with biology and human performance. Things start to kind of connect. Because back then, I wasn't good at academic at all. I'm not that type of person that, got good grades or whatever. But when you find something you like and passionate about, things just kind of fall into place for you. You don't have to try hard. Like when I click, it's like, this is for me. Like I can be good at this. And that's triggered the mindset of being a performance coach. And nothing like that in Hong Kong. So I was studying in the States. That was very common, SNC coach, performance coach and all that. So I was like, why don't I do that in Hong Kong? And next thing you know, when I come back, there's no such a thing. There's no market for that. So the next easy option will be personal trainer, right? So that's how I get into personal training.
Okay, so I think it really started off as a younger kid, trying to be competitive.
Yeah.
You always had that fire, that driven in you. Maybe because of lack of certain abilities, you weren't able to compete at the level that you wanted to be. So you found different ways to improve yourself. The growth mindset at a very young age. So that's kind of how you came into this industry. You were interested. Then what happened? I think you went into one of the bigger chains in Hong Kong, Elite Gym. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, so I came back. That's the first interview I have. My first resume I sent. I got the first job interview. I got the job. And I worked in that company for almost 15 years, starting as a personal trainer.
So that company was Pure
Fitness.
Pure Fitness.
Yes. And to be honest, like every college kid, when you graduate from a university, you want to be proud of that, being the alumni, right? You want to be proud. I'm still proud. I'm happy, I share part of the journey, significant time with Pure Fitness. During that time, I learned a lot. I learned how to work with people, not only client, but also with coaches, with the team, work with the management, knowing how they think and understanding the business a little bit more as I progress to a higher role. So I appreciate all the opportunity and I really enjoy working there.
So you were at Pure for 15 years.
Yeah, almost 15, yeah.
You started off as a personal trainer.
Yeah.
And then you kind of pivot.
Yeah.
And you created the education program.
Yeah.
Can you share what is an education program?
Yeah, as a PT, back then there was no such a thing called education, manager or role or coach or something, right? So everyone just kind of on their own. And education is like not as important as how much you can bring into the company, how much can you sell, how much can you do, right? But when I joined, I started to train my client and I started to get good results. I started to get renewal, referral a lot. And I'm a natural introvert. I think you can tell.
No.
So selling is not my thing. I am not good at, selling or asking people to do it. But then I got a lot of referral and retention. So the manager start to pay attention to it and ask me, how did you do it? We know that you don't like selling and you don't, how did you do that? So I started to share. And then he said, okay, why don't you just share what you did with the team? So back then it was only 1 or 2 clubs. Now it's a lot. And can you tell them, what you do? So that's how we started. It's like unofficial, just pure sharing, like what I did, different. And from there leading to, the team get a bit better feedback. And now the client kind of see the benefit of doing this. Maybe you can take on the role and be part of, officially like just educating the team. And I'm very happy to take that role because I think I just like to help people at different level, right? If I have client in front of me, I would like to help my client. But if you put coaches in front of me, I will want them to be successful as well. So now it's different challenge, different role, but I really enjoy it. And now it's like, how do I make the team better? Like what type of education they need? Like what kind of skill set they need to be a better coach?
So I have a few questions. What exactly are in the program? What type of education are we talking about?
Starting from basic anatomy, physiology, to communication skill, interperson communication skill or a knowledge, right? So how you read someone, how you kind of communicate to, intra, like within yourself. How do you reflect? How do you get feedback? And program design and different goal, for different level. How do you adjust the intensity, volume, all that stuff according to that client daily readiness? All that stuff. So along the way, it actually helped me to clear things up. Like now I have a system that I can teach to the next tier. So kind of strengthen my thought process and my logic. So I really enjoy that part.
Yeah, so I think it's similar to the example you talk about basketball, right? Or how you maintain, you be flexible and adaptable. And at the same time, I think the most important part is it helped you to grow as well.
Yeah.
Because it was an unofficial program. And then the team got better results. It got bigger and it became a real role for you. And how long was that role?
I would say more than, if not 8 years, it will be more like 8 to 6 years long. Yeah, and we talk the personal training business, not just the quality, like the numbers, the sale to another level. Like a lot of people from all over the world, when they hear the numbers, they'll be like, no way, like that's crazy number. So we are very proud of that. And we did it in a classy way. Like people are happy with the quality of service that we offer.
At that time, so I think Hong Kong started 1 or 2 clubs. And then Singapore, Shanghai,
yeah.
Right. And then Hong Kong started to have more clubs. So were you the leader for all clubs?
Yeah.
In APAC?
Yeah. I start to travel. Every time they have a new club set up, from designing the club to how you're gonna utilize the facility, right? So the software and hardware always have to be hands in hands, like they have to match each other. So I will go there for a week or so to kind of educate them, intensive training every day, 9 to 5, practical theory, discussion for a week or so. Same thing, every 3 months or something, we'll fly back doing the same thing. In between, we'll develop the team. We have video call, make sure everyone on the same page in terms of programming or the philosophy.
So you were having great success within the education program. And then something's kind of shifted. You kind of had a different thought and decided to pivot away from pure. Can you share, what was that thought process?
Yeah, I guess it's the inspiration, right? At that moment, it kind of inspired me to say, maybe I could do this in a bigger scale. Maybe what I did here has value, right? And at that moment, people will learn from me, but most likely because they are under the company and they are forced to go, right? So, but I was thinking, if I do this outside, people might actually pay to do it, and they actually have different attitude. They will be very hungry for this kind of knowledge, and I can maybe even create bigger impact to the industry, not just the brand, not just one club, to every brand, every clubs. So that's kind of like sparked the idea, and I decided to go to do it on my own, not only for the education, but also the thing that I'm really passionate about since day one is a sport performance training, which I kind of instilled that mindset or the culture into the X company, but not in the way that I envision. And I feel like the calling is getting bigger and bigger. I just cannot ignore it.
So you wanted to create something on your own?
Yeah.
As in, you don't want to be played within the boundaries, right?
You can say that.
You want the freedom.
You can say that, yes.
To really express your philosophy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So was that when you started having thoughts about AQ?
You said it perfectly. It's the boundary. Like there's so much more I want to do that I couldn't do if I stay in the same company.
Okay.
Not saying that is wrong or not. It's different business model.
Of course.
So if I already have that in my mind, I want to see if I can pull it off, right? So that's why I pivot and change it, not because I'm not happy or not satisfied with what I did. Actually, it's the opposite, right? To a point, I feel like I could have done more if I go outside. And before I even left, I already thinking about this since when I was in college. When I saw the college team, the Division 1, NCAA, that's how they do every day. That's how they train. Why can't we do that? Why don't we bring that to Hong Kong? Why don't we have that kind of facility, that type of coaching, that type of program that enhance sport performance? So that already there, and that's the trigger.
Okay, so I totally agree and I see it. I think it's like this, right? In business, when you work at a corporate for a long time, you get to a certain level. Because it's a corporate, there are structures, there are different teams that they have to play by certain rules. It's not a bad thing. It's great, but sometimes you need to branch out to see what can you really achieve. And I think you went through that corporate to startup phase, right? And then you start to do it on your own in Hong Kong. But before we talk about what you did, or what you're doing right now, it's actually a quite saturated market in Hong Kong. We have chain gyms, you have high-end, lower-end, middle-class, whatever, and then you have 24/7 self-serve gyms. You also have HIIT, CrossFit, and then you have gyms that are dedicated for bodybuilding. I don't really see another gym for SNC, but was there any doubts for you to, okay, I'm going to try it on my own and I'm going to do it in this particular niche area?
Yeah, well, definitely. Because when I sit down and map out my business plan, similar to your view, right? So good thing is there is no one doing what I try to do. So that's a good thing. But bad news is there might be no market for this at all. That's why no one is doing it, right? So it's a big gamble because you don't see anyone leading before you. So you can't follow. You just have to create. No one understand. When I first started, I did a little research. No one even understand what is sport performance training. It's either powerlifting, weightlifting, bodybuilding, fat loss, HIIT. That's it. That's pretty much everyone. A personal training studio. I question myself. Is it really what you want to do? What if, something like this happened, But I guess, again, you just cannot ignore it when the calling is so big, like it's so loud. You just follow your dream and just go. Yeah, I guess that's why people think it's a scary move, but I think it's like, to me, it's like, why not? Yeah.
I think if we both use basketball terms, if you don't shoot, you never make it.
Absolutely.
If you shoot, you miss, you try.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So
absolutely.
that was the mindset.
Yes.
But then how did it start? What was your strategy?
Yeah.
You started with something smaller, right?
So I started to test the concept because I don't want to pay down payment for big facility. But to start the concept, I actually use a pop-up concept, like a pop-up store. Pop-up store basically is like smaller scale. I think back then I have 6,000 square feet. This is 10,000, by the way. So 6,000. I wanted to be smaller than that, but back then I don't find any facility that fit that design. So anyway, I started 6,000 square feet with a very short lease, and knowing after the short lease, if my business is good, then I might stay. If the business is not good, then I might close it with a limited loss. So I bought essential equipment and keep everything basic, like just little turf, the flooring, basic equipment, and just run the program and see if my concept actually can take off. I did that originally trying for 1 year. I have a 1-year contract. I think we extended the contract for a little longer because we see good result. But at the same time, that's about time the COVID hit. So bad timing for me starting a business at that timing. Then we come to a decision, either we close it or we utilize that gap to do something crazier. The risk can be your opportunity.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. So The pop-up,
Yeah.
that 1 year, how was it?
It was great. I really like that place. I really like, because I start off with no experience. Every day is like new problem, new challenge. But I'm so excited. Like it's your baby. So everything is like, I want to be perfect. Very lucky we got some good client that understand the concept, and then started to kind of spread by word of mouth. I don't even have big budget to promote. Everything is done by myself. Like even from signing up membership to promoting on social media, all that stuff is like, I gotta do it all. But one thing I realized is the program and the software that I plan actually works. So now we are ready. Like I'm happy to actually make that move.
What were one of the most memorable feedback you got from your client, from any clients?
At that moment,
Yeah.
that moment
The
is
pop-up,
like,
the pop-up.
yeah, the moment is they never seen something like that before. And they felt like this create authentic community, because everyone talk about community. But to them, this is a real community because we're using a semi-private coaching setup, which means 8 to 12 people per group. And they actually interactive with each other. They train together like a team. So they share the same program, they share the same pain, suffer. They really enjoy that kind of bond. And if you remember, when we have COVID, that's one thing we miss, is the bond, the social bonding, interaction with people. And what we can do pop up is just that. It provide a platform for people to bond.
Did it increase your confidence?
Absolutely. Like, that's why I pull a trigger and say, hey, okay, now we can't do anything because of COVID. But now look, maybe the rents are cheaper. Maybe there's opportunity we can scale it. Once this is over, maybe we're good. So yeah, that gave me a lot of confidence. Yeah.
I want to pivot a little bit from being a coach. I want to switch to the business side. Coming from a corporate to a startup, what were some challenges?
If you start your own business, there's no day off. That's first thing. That's a major pivot. If you work in a big company, your holiday is holiday. You know, if you are not feeling 100%, you might call in sick, and you can get away with that. You know, there is a lot of resources. If you need something to get done, people will do it for you. You know, oh, social media, I want this photo, I want this. You know, oh, I want to have new equipment. I want something, I want to fly someone over to teach the team. You know, all that stuff, like they got all taken care of. But when you're on your own, you don't have that resources. You have to kind of be creative to kind of match that level without paying that big amount of money.
Was that something very foreign to you?
It's totally new. It's totally new. No, I don't know how to do it. I just kind of like one step at a time, one step at a time.
And then you saw an opportunity during COVID, and then you decide to get this place right now. So tell us, what is this place?
This is what I envisioned in the beginning, very beginning, is to be able to bring in a group of athletes at the same time. You can have like 5 teams, you know, basketball, baseball, whatever, and they train at the same time. And everyone will kind of feed off each other, the energy, the competitiveness, the work ethic, right? You can sense it when you work. When you walk in here, the music is loud, people are training hard, they are making small talk, they are making fun of each other, they're competing as well. It's fun. It's like you walk into a college, and even though they are not an official team, like because we train in Jam Pop most of the time, but the feeling is identical, right? So I designed a place with the coaching first. How I use this place, how do I want the athlete to move when they train? Then I map out the spacing, the equipment, then little stuff, yeah.
And what is the name of this place?
The name of this is called AQ Strong. AQ is actually stand for athletic quotient. Athletic quotient is something I created. No one done it before. It's basically a way for us to kind of evaluate your athleticism, how athletic you are as an athlete, and I call it AQ. Strong, it just imply you want to be empowering. Here is like I want you to feel like you can get there. Like I want people to feel empowered by just hearing it.
I think also it could be, when I heard it, it's like strength in numbers, strong. You know, And then when I came in, I felt it.
Yeah.
I felt the community. I felt that I come in, like-minded people are training hard in the morning and at night, and you guys are building something truly special that I haven't seen in Hong Kong. And I think that's the inspiration behind AQ Strong.
Yeah. And of course, people ask me what strong means, you know. Strong to me is literally on the wall. Strong, it's a choice. I really emphasize and stand by it. Is a lot of time when you go training, you are waiting for someone to tell you what to do, right? Either, oh, your physio said you need to do this, or your doctor said you need to do exercise. Your wife sent you here because she feel like you need to lose some weight, whatever, right? But no, like here it's different. You making your own choice. I'm not gonna use the in-body and tell you how fat you are. I'm not gonna do a screen and say how dysfunction you are, so you need to train. No, I'm here to tell you, if you make up your mind, you want to be better at life or sport, I am here to support you. But you have to make that choice by yourself. I'm not making that choice.
Let me share your story. So AQ, this name, I've actually heard it a lot of times.
Really?
Yes. I've never told you this story because we never had a chance to talk.
Yeah.
You know? So what happened was I used to go to all these like pickup runs during the off season. And then Mitch, you know Mitch, right?
Yeah.
He was like, hey, go check out AQ. AQ is great. I'm like, sure. But that was it. You know, at that moment, I wasn't really thinking how to like level up. And then Michael, SCAA, Michael, he's like, hey, go check out AQ. It's great. Fine. You know, I still didn't go. Yeah. And then it was when Frankie, you know, someone, shout out to Frankie. Because I told him I was the next year was my last year for me, and I'm gonna retire. I'm gonna focus on something else. And then he's like, go talk to Coach K. Maybe you can play a few more years. That was it. And then, like you said, word of mouth marketing is the best because he's someone that I respect. So I decided to, hey, come check it out.
Yeah.
And then when I came, you basically just asked me, what do you want to achieve? And I told you I want to level up.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Yeah.
I made the choice.
Yeah, you make the choice.
I made the choice.
Yep.
Hey,
I didn't go
trained.
to all the screen and say, hey, you need to train.
You did it. Yeah. And then I think you analyzed me, how I was doing, and then where I could go. I want to share one more example. I don't know if you remember, we were sprinting, and then you told me, hey, do you believe I can sprint and turn faster than you? I'm like, sure. Like, of course, maybe. But, you know, I thought I can do better. But it was the strategy, the method, the way you pivot, you stop and turn, the movement.
Yeah.
I think those were something very new to me at that moment. Yeah. And those were where I was able to level up. Yeah,
I'm basically teaching you how to be efficient with your body.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Because at this age, to be honest, right, you're not gonna be extra strong, extra explosive. That's just nature of human body. Yeah. But you can definitely be more efficient and conserve a lot of energy and make it effortless, right? So if you are efficient in all the cutting and change of direction, you actually need less power or muscular strength. Yeah. So that's what I did to you.
Yeah, and it worked right away. I saw it. I felt it. I was so much stronger when I was playing. Yeah, and I think it's a choice. It's really a choice.
Thank you for telling me.
It's
good to hear from you.
That's why I wanted to have a chat with you, because there are so many things I wanted to talk to you, but you know, we're both busy.
Yeah.
And you were always so serious.
Yeah, I get that a lot. I don't know.
Yeah. So okay, and then another question is, you have this vision.
Yeah.
You have this inspiration, but you know, now we're talking about business. It's still a business. How can you keep this vision and make sure the team are aligned at the same time being able to sustain?
That's a total different ball game. I would say that's, to be honest, that's not something I am well prepared for. I'm always a good coach, I would say, in a way, because I'm kind of sensitive. I know how to communicate, but to lead the team and to run the business at the same time, a lot of things I'm not familiar with. So I have to kind of learn from a lot of people. One of the person that I look up to is my business partner, Marco. He also worked with me in Pure. We worked closely together back then. He taught me a lot of things about business and how to run business and all that. So that works well now. So I got someone cover my business side of things, show me things that I don't know. On mentoring, coaching side, I feel like there's a big gap I still can improve. So I go on and took the master course about performance coaching. It took me 2.5 years or something like that. And just dive deep on how do you coach someone, like coaching science, psychology, all that stuff. And I think it was very stressful when you have to run a business and to study another program at the same time. But it's totally worth it because the thing that I learned and the people that I met during the course totally open up like different level of things that I don't even know it exists.
I think it's with great power comes great responsibilities.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it because you admit it, you're lacking in certain areas, but it doesn't mean that you're not trying to improve.
Yeah.
But it's the growth mindset, even at a stage where you're successful, you're great at what you do, but there are holes, then we need to fill it.
Yeah. And I also would say, even before I know anything about leading the team, but I always believe leading by example. And I always want to establish a culture that people can be open about their feedback. And I want to kind of provide a kind of safety and environment for people to make mistakes and to be able to get feedback and learn from it. So that's day one, the culture. Everyone come in here, they understand. It's okay to make mistake. It's okay to criticize or get feedback from your peers and be open mind. We always kind of share what we see with each other, with the team. I don't take a role of, I know everything and, this is what you need to do. It's the same approach like coach huddle. I call it coach huddle. I don't call it team meeting. Coach huddle means, all right, before the game, we're just going to gather around, right? So what's the game plan?
Yeah.
What's the matchup? How are you going to play this? Who's got hot hand right now? So just like that. And that's our mindset. It's like, there's no like right or wrong. We just come together and say, how do we fix this problem? Sometimes I don't even know. Like, you guys can tell me together and figure it out. And I think that's kind of pass it on to the next generation. Like, now we got more than 10 coaches and I would say at this point, I'm happy because we all still share the same culture. Like, to me, you cannot buy that. Like, you cannot buy that. That's something money cannot buy.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. I love it. I love it because that was from your perspective, from a client perspective coming in. When I first came in, I was like, oh, this is a really nice gym. Something that I don't see in Hong Kong. I felt like I was in the States, which was something that you talked about.
Yeah.
Dude, this is your plan. This is your vision.
Yeah.
Right? And then I saw like, when I came in, early morning, because I always train at 8 a.m.
Yeah.
There would be a dog outside. I'm like, this is what I want. This is real. I feel like family, community, right? And I think it's from top to bottom. It's not just top down. It's top down and bottom up. You guys all have to be aligned in order to build this environment, not just internally, but externally, like for someone to come in for an hour and being trained, but can still feel that sense of like safety. Like, I'm here to learn. It's okay to fail, Yeah,
I think one thing I noticed when people not going to the gym is because they feel intimidating, right? They feel like, let me get in shape or let me move better so I go. But the fact that you're not moving well or you're not in shape, it's just because you need to come here and train. So I talk about that all the time to my team and even in my reflection. Can I make this a little bit more welcoming, less intimidating? Anyone can walk in. No matter how much you do, I know there will be someone always scared to come. But my point is, at least when they walk in, they know they can train here. Like, one thing is like, I don't want to come because I'm scared, but as soon as they show up, they should have no problem staying. That's my mindset.
So is this what you want your client to think when they walk into AQ, right?
Yeah.
So this is what your version of AQ to them, being able to come in and be yourself and
judgment free.
Yeah. We're going to break you down. We're going to build you up stronger than ever.
Yeah. Believe it or not, like, most clients that train here long enough, will just automatically help the new people on board. There's like, I used to be like that. Don't worry, 3 weeks later, you'll be okay. You'll get, like, we got that a lot, like just natural bonding. And I think people just love to help. That's
Power of the community.
Yeah.
Power of the community.
Yeah, and again, one person do that, two person do that, and now all of a sudden the whole club is filled with that culture.
Yeah, I can definitely feel that.
Yeah.
I can definitely feel that. It's great. It's great to have that. I also want to learn, what were some struggles when you started this amazing place?
Yeah. Well, first of all, when we started this place, I thought the COVID will be over by then. But you both, we know it lasts longer than we expected. So right off the bat, that is not in my game plan. So I have to start paying rent. The government doesn't allow any activities. There's a restriction on how many people you can train, and we're in a group setup. So that's definitely is restricted, our business model. So that is very scary because every day you're paying rent. Every day you're losing money. We did something different. We did online education. So remember, I wanted to do something like education. So back then, the education piece kind of saved my life because I went full on to academy to do education for coaches, for general population. At the same time, we did a lot of creative things. We bring the equipment outdoor to train people and still keeping the same mindset of performance-based, not just HIIT, not just running, but like real good quality program. And we got people just kind of appreciate this and come and train.
So when you say education part, was it educating the trainers or educating the...
Yeah, the course is more targeting the coaches.
Coaches.
Yeah,
okay.
Coaches. Yeah.
Okay. And then you also talked about, even you moved outdoor, you still focus on performance, right?
Yeah.
Share the audience. What is performance?
I think you can recall back then, if you have COVID and you train at home or outdoor, the first thing you do is, I do more reps. Instead of 20 push-up, I do 50. Instead of 20 squat, I do 50 squat, right? And then the next thing you use band, you start to use. So those things are good if you're just looking for metabolic, right? You're just looking for, burn some calories and all that. But that doesn't do anything to your strength. That doesn't do anything to your speed and power, So we bought the flywheel K-box. You tried that K-box before. We took it outdoor. There was take a lot of effort to set up, but we took the K-box outside, the flywheel training. We still overload people. We took the barbell outside. We loaded with play. We're still training outdoor. I remember we went to Kowloon Park. We load up the barbell. We're still doing weightlifting. The security came and we just like, with these 4 people, they're another 4 people group. So it's a lot of fun because we have to kind of navigating through this restriction. We're still doing like intense mobility training. Like we emphasizing on, getting your range, but also with strength, so you can control the new range. So all these stuff is like we're moving the needle. We are not just exercising, we're actually training to be better, even in that situation.
Yeah. I want to understand, right? AQ, there's a vision. And then the setup is for performance, is scientific. Share with the audience that who doesn't understand this. What is the easiest way to understand what is scientific performance training?
Yeah, a simple way will be we treat everyone like an athlete. So if you are athlete, your goal is to get better results in sport. Then reverse engineering. What does it take for you to get better results? Now, if you're not an athlete, you don't play any sport. First thing is, what is it that you want in life or in, your goal? Is that goal important to you? If that goal is important to you, now reverse engineering. What's stopping you from reaching there? What's stopping you from getting there? Let's tackle this one by one. And we are here to help you to remove those obstacles. And we're going to empower you, meaning educate you, show you the way, encourage you to get there. And so it's really, you can say is like generic, dynamic, not, it's context specific.
So it's more like breaking down.
Yeah. So in short, it's like you sign up not a club, but a professional coaching team. That's it. Like you have a team of coaches that just help you to figure out your program.
Because I think in the normal world, it's like I want to have six pack. I want to have a bigger bicep. I want to lose weight, and then the trainers have a set of programs. But then for here, I felt it because I can say this because I came in, I had certain things I want to achieve, and then you kind of broke it down into piece by pieces. We were working on pull-ups. We just talked about that before this, right?
Yeah.
I still remember all those pull-ups, dips.
Yeah.
Like I never really worked on those before.
Yeah.
And then you worked on my legs.
Yeah.
And then mobility, right? Breathing.
Yeah.
Breathing is something that, I never knew it was so important. So I think this is scientifically tailored to the specific person.
Yeah. Yeah, we basically break everything down into system and just mapping out what you need, and then now we have a system for that, right? So then it eventually, this will never be identical to any other person. Your training plan or your training program will be totally different, even 2 years later or 1 year later, right? It's always evolving, always changing. But if you have a system, now you can manipulate. Now you can change. Usually what we do back then is if you have a highly experienced coach, that coach do all the stuff, like it's live in his head. But now I lay out a system, everyone can use the system to think, to execute. And the good thing is if something is not working, we look at the system and say, how do we fix this, right?
Like a doctor.
Yeah, it's like a mechanic, right? So you just, okay, this doesn't work. Let's move it out of the way. Let's try this.
Yeah.
Versus if all live in your head, you don't know, and the team doesn't know.
Great. I think this is what your philosophy is all about.
Well, what my coaching philosophy is always empathy, integrity, empowerment. That's what I really focus on. Like every day, I hold myself accountable for these things that I value. And are you being authentic? Are you being, honest with your client? Are you holding yourself accountable? All the stuff. Are you helping that person to become better version of themselves because you empowering them, or you using fear, negative emotion to drive them, to manipulate them, right? So that's always kind of there for me in terms of coaching philosophy.
Now I want to go into your philosophy. So coach, your philosophy is, if life is a sport, everyone is an athlete. You kind of mentioned it, but can you elaborate a little bit more?
Yeah, just like what we said, right? If with a basketball game approach to life, it's the same thing. Ultimately, what I'm trying to do is help people to be more resilient, to give them capacity to deal with stress. Because stress is very similar to physical stress, psychological stress. They are no difference. The response is similar. So if you have someone, they're not training for sport, but they still experience stress every day. If you teach them how to deal with stress, that means you're teaching them how to deal with life. That's a win, right? So why not?
When I read this sentence, or when I heard it from you, I understood what you're trying to say. Because, training as an athlete, you hit obstacles, ups and downs, good day, bad days. It's the same as doing a 9-to-5 jobs. You might have a great quarter, a great year, but then what? You might hit a bump. But how can you pick yourself back up, right? So our everyday life, it is a sport. We are constantly challenging ourselves, right? You might be, let's say, a banker. You want to make more next year. That's a challenge. You might be an athlete. You didn't win a championship this year. You want to win it next year. That's a challenge. It's the mindset, how you grow.
Yes.
So that is the philosophy.
When you start to train, you actually become more competitive, and you also become more confident about your ability because now you understand yourself better. And then every time you conquer something, or you overcome an obstacle, you overcome a challenge, that's kind of give you a little bit extra self-esteem, boost your self-esteem. That's going to build you up. And you're utilizing that cycle continually in the gym to help you to be stronger, to be more resilient outside when you deal with life. So that's basically a rehearsal.
Yeah, it's so deep. This is so deep because people think about going to gym. I'm just gonna go to the gym and work out. It's not just to work out. Sure, you can just go to the gym and work out, but it's more like training your mindset, right?
Yeah.
I could do 100 pounds this week. Maybe I'll push for 105.
Yeah, it's the mindset.
It's a little bit of improvement.
Yeah.
And then how do you use that and bring it out to the real world where you're constantly facing challenge, pressure, and then obstacles.
Yeah.
How do you push through it?
Yeah, you just don't back down.
You don't back
You just
down.
stay competitive. You just keep fighting. You
Yes.
don't quit the game.
Yes.
And that's what we do. We help people to have that mindset. You don't need to be perfect, but you're always making little progress. As long as you're playing the game, you still have a chance to win.
Yes.
And life is you cannot quit the game. We don't want you to quit the game. So it doesn't matter how difficult it is, we will figure it out.
Yes.
And you will figure it out. We have so many inspiring stories happen in AQ. Coming back from cancer, coming back from severe injury, setback, so many stories I can share. And elder people, senior people that has replacement now be able to walk, skip, jump. Those are very rewarding. And this is why I say, you don't need to be an athlete because you're an athlete. Like you're basically dealing with that every day.
This is why AQ is so special. And I believe AQ is for anyone. If you could be a weekend warrior, you could be a professional athlete, you could be a 9 to 5 regular, working class. Come here, check it out. There's a lot of different programs. I believe it's beneficial to the general public.
I would say one thing though, like the first thing you ask yourself, do you have what it takes to ask yourself who you really are when you train? Like when you come to me, it's the same thing. Who you are, like what can you become? Like how can you be better? Like can you become better? Okay. So it's the same thing. Like you don't just take the fact that, oh, now I am injured or now I am at this level. This is it. You will still have something that you want to achieve.
Yes.
Staying competitive. That's the thing.
I made the choice.
Yes.
I made the choice.
Yes.
Okay, so I want to pivot now. Pivot a little bit to a topic where I feel like it's very interesting. So I'll share. When I was in my teen, I played for the under 18 Hong Kong team, or I played at Division 3 basketball in Hong Kong when I was 15. I never really heard about skills training. We always did team training, which was layup, fast break, and then you go into 5-on-5. That's kind of it. And then you kind of do the strategy and everything. And then conditioning, running, a lot of running.
Yeah,
that was
yeah,
it.
yeah.
But now when I look at 15-year-olds, they are so skillful.
Yeah.
Like I don't think I can compete with them. Like to be honest, they're at that level now. As a coach, what do you think about specializing at a very, very young age and focusing on skills training for a particular sport?
Well, I have no problem people become more skillful, but not with the cost of taking away creativity and variety and decision making, right? Because if you are very skillful at certain thing, that means that will be your go-to formula. Like you could have maybe 10 formula that you can go to. Now become the autopilot, in a way that when you play the game, it's like doom, 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 you're gonna score, right? Or you're gonna get rid of people. That's something I think you need to learn that from playing other sport and doing different we call constraint lead approach. Like you have to create little constraint to help them to see what they normally don't see. So yeah, more repetition is good for certain period of time, but if your entire career starting at teen or early age and doing that's too much repetitive movement. And when you're going to spend time on exploring something else to understand how your body work, how they connect, to understand different part of the game rather than just the space on the skill.
I think there are multiple ways to look at this. If you're around 15, maybe it's great because you already tried different things. But when you're at 8 to 12, maybe it's good to learn and play different kind of sports. Not saying that it's bad to focus or put your eggs in one basket. It's just that sometimes being able to play rugby, play soccer, play basketball, the movement helps you, right?
Yeah.
It sometimes it's not about skills.
Yeah.
It's about at a very young age, are you able to learn how to be mobile?
Yeah, coordination, pacing yourself, reading the game, reading a teammate, getting feedback from different things, awareness. We have a lot of people that we train or we saw, they're at high level. But when you take away their sport, and just do movement, they have very little control and they have little understanding about how their body work. So they are very good at what they do automatically, right? But they have no control other than that. Like, that's very sad. And I believe if you expand their movement library or their understanding, they will become a better athlete.
I agree, because I'm kind of like that. I'm not saying I'm very, very good at basketball, but if you take away basketball from me, I might not be able to do a lot of weight training. I might not be very flexible because I never really use those muscles or turn that certain way. So that is a great point. Like now I look at the sport a little bit different. Now I look at training a little bit different. And I think this is so important. And for the next generation, it's equally important.
Yeah. And then there's the other problem is, if you put all eggs in one basket, if you make it to the NBA, you make it to the pro, you make a career out of it, that's great. But think of it this way. What if you didn't make it? All the time that you spend, the 10 years or 15 years that you did, lead to nothing. And most people will hate to do that sport because for what? You know, I was going to the pro, I'm not playing pro. Now I don't like that sport anymore. And okay, so what are you gonna do next to stay active, to be fun, to have, you know, to play games or sport? You don't know other sport. Like, that's the only sport you know. So you can't enjoy other things. And you feel like, if I do that now, I look silly. I'm so good at this sport and now I can't even enjoy, you know, maybe just a casual badminton or whatever.
Yeah.
Right. So that also kind of set a barrier for people to be healthy, to stay active, to kind of enjoy social life in general.
Yeah, I think also like social media pressure, a lot of things. There's a lot of different elements in life might affect the growth of a person.
Yeah.
And just sometimes being able to, you know, be open and try new things is great. It's great also to be specialized in one type of sport. It's not wrong.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if for kids at a younger age, because I'm a father now, you know, I think about these kind of things, right? And I love to learn, you know, and hear from you. And I think it's great. Putting all your eggs in one basket might be a problem for, let's say, my son's growth. But at the same time, if he is extremely good at something, yes, we should train him.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we also need him to try, experience different things so that he's got a broad perspective on things in life.
Yeah, you let them explore what he wants and what he enjoy.
Yeah.
As parent, and myself included, we always want our next generation to do what we like or what we're good at, right?
Yes.
But is it really fair?
Yes.
You know, so I would say let them explore a little bit. Let's see what do they kind of excel or, you know, gravitating toward, and then we'll make that decision later. You don't have to kind of pick that sport and say all in for this sport.
Yeah.
You know, that's too early to make that decision.
Yeah, and I think that's something that I wanted to ask you because I'm a new parent. You know, it's something to learn about. And then I want to actually go back to your philosophy. You know, on your social media, I actually seen you promoting the WAC method. Can you elaborate a little bit on this?
Yes, a WAC method is believing your spine is the engine. So spinal engine. Something different than traditional ways to look at spine. People look at spine as like a link or bridge, something that connect your upper body, lower body. Yeah. They are passive, right? They are there just to connect, transfer energy. But in WAC method, they believe the spinal engine theory is your spine is actually the guy that, you know, initiate all that movement, right? And of course, there's research and science back it up. But what I'm saying also is, in our industry, we are too overemphasized on keeping your spine in neutral spine all the time because we're so worried that someone will injure themselves if they bend too much, extend too much, you know, rotate too much, which doesn't make sense. Because if you train like how you perform, performance training, train like how you perform, and you will ask yourself, do you perform your sport in neutral spine most of the time? And I will say 99% of the time, you will not spend your spine in neutral position.
Neutral position meaning
Yeah, just like a skeleton.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Like everything is perfect alignment.
Yeah. No.
You're not even in neutral spine right now.
No,
I'm not.
No, yeah.
As soon as you're playing defense,
Yeah.
as soon as you try to serve or whatever, you won't be able to maintain neutral spine.
Yes.
And if we're gonna do that anyway, why are we not trained to be efficient, to be strong at those position and transition? Because those are actually giving us the most power and athletic ability. So that's something I think still lack of, like the industry is still lacking.
Yeah.
It's behind.
Yeah, and that's something that I never really thought about too until I saw your post. You know, you all these movements, Conor McGregor. You know, I love it. I love it. And I'm always learning from your social media, your influence. I love how we talked about your journey. We talked about AQ, but I also want to learn about something more deeper.
Okay.
So this is called the DWIT podcast.
Okay.
Meaning, do whatever it takes. So to me, it's not a phrase. It's not a statement. It's actually a mindset. It's a way of life. Can you share with the audience a story about your DWIT moment where you did whatever it took to get there?
For me, it's definitely the moment I decide to leave my company, the existing one that I feel very comfortable, well-paid job.
Yeah.
I have a kid, I have my wife and family. You know, I got bills to pay. Walking out of that and moving into something completely new with very limited resources, it's super scary. It's no turning back. There's no turning back. And you just have to make it work. And at some point, I encounter COVID, you know, and all that's upset, the setback and all that. And without enough cash flow, that's another layer of stress. So to all the entrepreneur out there, cash flow is king. No cash flow is scary, right? So I made that mistake. I have to almost not only use all my saving, but to borrow money from my family, friends to support the company and not getting a fraction of what I usually get paid. And that's a lot of stress. There's no turning back. And I just have to make sure I can get through the tunnel and make it work.
It was your determination.
Determination, whatever it takes. What do I need to do? You know, if I need to learn something, I will go learn. If I have to ask someone, I will ask. If I have to, you know, not sleep and just stay awake, I will. I'm doing all that, right? I'm using all my saving, you know,
But it was also because you had a vision, you had a goal, you had a dream for yourself. And at that moment, you thought it was the right time. Sure, COVID happened or other things happened. Experience, right? Like you said, cash is king to entrepreneurs. This is the learnings that you got out of this, I would say, amazing time. Because when you look back, we love seeing results, but the journey, the process, the obstacles that we go through, those are the moments where we really enjoy seeing.
Absolutely,
life is better.
Absolutely.
The story is better.
Absolutely. That's the life lesson you cannot pay someone to teach you.
Yes.
Right. So if I look back, every now and then I will look back. It's only been maybe 5 years since I started AQ. And I learned so much in that 4 to 5 years compared to, you know, the past 20, 30 years. It's like every day you wake up like a roller coaster ride. Something's gonna happen. You have to deal with it, and you cannot ask someone else to help you. It's just you by yourself. Yeah.
I think this is where your character was built, and it's still building.
Yeah.
And when you come into AQ every day, it's a constant reminder of what I went through, why I need to make this work, and what I can share with your team, right?
Yeah.
Like letting them know that, hey, this is my dream.
Yeah.
I built this, and we're gonna make it work together as a community.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. In a way, almost like problem solving, encounter problems or setback is kind of built in our DNA now because of these, right? So even our team, they now have better capacity to deal with this kind of things. Like they don't need to well plan everything. They have the flexibility now.
Improvise.
Yeah, improvise and being able to know that you don't know everything. So kind of insecure in a way, but still be able to grow from there.
It's also because you gave them this trust, you know, you made it happen, and you let them know that, hey, I'm here, we're here together. That's the important part. That's such a great story. Very inspiring. Okay, now let's do something more fun.
Okay.
I think that was a little bit too serious.
All
Okay.
right.
Okay. I have this segment, you know, it's like rapid qualifying questions.
Okay.
One of those I don't really think or answer with one word or one sentence.
Okay.
Okay. First one. What's one piece of advice you would give your younger self?
Be authentic. Don't be someone that you are not.
Okay. Second. What is one thing you do every day to stay focused and stay sharp?
Reflection, self-reflection. Yeah, I would spend time self-reflect on the things that happened that day or earlier. If I have a chance to talk to people, I will ask for feedback. But I think self-reflection is you can do it anytime because it's only you. And it's such a good process for you to continue to get better.
I'm gonna take that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take that for myself. Self-reflection, maybe for a few minutes even.
Yeah, yeah.
Just to think about what you did today. What can I improve?
Yeah.
Or what did I do great? Last one. This one's interesting. If you could coach any professional athlete, who would it be and why?
Well, it will be the Japanese baller Yuki. It will be him. Why? Because I think he is a classic example of being athletic and not having the genetic. And so if I train him, I will learn from him more than I can coach him. But I will also love to see how he responds to different type of training. And of course, I will love to believe that I can still take him to the next level. But if not, I get to train him. I get to kind of steal his, movements, steal his things. And I would love to.
This is very interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't think you would say that. Usually people would say, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, Yuki.
I want to train someone that's kind of supposed to be underdog. They don't have that, what it takes to be the professional, but somehow they still believe and now they make it. It's such an inspiration story. And if you can help him to become better, wow,
you're great.
Whoa, yes. And so
actually it's similar to your story, right? Because you came into this industry or you started to fall in love with fitness, it's because you wanted to compete at a higher level. You want to upgrade yourself. And Yuki is someone that physically, it doesn't make sense.
Yep.
Doesn't make sense for him.
Yep.
But he is there.
Yep.
It takes time. He might not get the opportunity or he might blow up one day. Right? And I think that's why you wanted to be able to train him, because with your philosophy and your vision, you can help him.
I certainly hope so.
That's great. That's the great answer. Okay. Final thoughts, Coach K. We had a great conversation. I think we covered a lot of topics.
Yeah.
Anything you want to add?
I guess I believe everyone really has the potential and drive within them. So I don't believe anyone saying, oh, he has no motivation to be better. I don't believe that. It just, you have to dig deeper to search for that meaning, like for the goal and why do you want that? A lot of time, I think, is people are just scared to dream about it. They don't feel like they deserve it or they feel like it's not for them. So I am here to tell everyone, anyone can achieve anything, and you just have to believe yourself and take the first step, just one step at a time. That's how we coach our athlete. One step. You don't need to become like this one day, but you're just moving the needle one day. The next thing you know, you look back, wow, I came a long way. I think that's what I want to tell everyone.
It's such a great inspirational quotes from you, because Rome was not built in one day.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. I think that sums it all. Be able to dream big, believe in yourself. And even though you might not see progress, keep going.
Yeah. And most important, find a reason that worth your fighting and time and energy.
And if you made that choice, then stick to it.
Yeah.
And do whatever it takes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, man.
Coach, thank you for being our guest today, first of all. Your story, your journey is truly inspirational. I love hearing you talk about your obstacle, but at the same time, how you were able to pivot, how you were able to continue to grow. I think this is something that is extremely important to everyone in life. To us, life is about making mistakes and learning from them, and eventually, when you look back, have no regrets. Our brand is about DWIT. It's about a way of life, being able to continuously improve and be better. And I have a special gift for you today.
Oh,
This is one of our merch.
Oh, yeah.
Looking clean. Yes. Just a quick explanation, right?
Yeah.
There are 3 elements within this t-shirt. The first one you see right here is just very simple, DWIT. It's a constant reminder for yourself every day. Look at the mirror and you see this. When you make the choice, do whatever it takes to get there.
Yeah.
And there is a symbol in the back. There's a symbol in the back. You can take a look. This is a symbol that we kind of created ourselves. When the team designed this, it was a basketball.
Okay.
But at the same time, it's about your own journey. I'm using basketball as how it started, through podcasts, through these wavelengths, to share my message invite guests, and share their message. It's not perfect, but that is a way of life, which is the third element in the back of the shirt. There's a slogan, a way of life. And for example, if today you're wearing this, I believe it would be AQ. How you use your influence, how you use your philosophy to continue to make this place even better and educate more people and save more people and promote their life.
Thank you. Thank you. It's very special, and it's my honor to be on your show, you know, and I really like the design and the message. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you for being part of the DWIT journey. Your support drives everything we do. Please subscribe to our channel and share your thoughts in the comments. Together, we're building a community that truly matters. We'll see you next time.